Yeah, absolutely. We are expecting to hear from the senator tonight. You can see the podium here behind me. He's expected to come out and talk a little bit about what we're seeing tonight. So far, he has taken an early lead among voters in Dallas County, Tarrant, Denton, Cornyn, and probably more importantly, statewide. We don't know if that's where he's going to end the night, but it is a strong beginning. The polls showed consistently that Attorney General Ken Paxton was in the lead. I can say that in Cornyn's 24 years in Senate, this is the strongest competition that he has faced, and not just on the Republican side. He has come out in recent weeks and said, the Democrats really have a chance to take this. That's part of his pitch. He has tried to position himself as really the best chance that the Republicans have to keep this seat red. But of course, he's facing Paxton, and J.D. Miles joins us from Dallas and Paxton's campaign.
Hey, Andrea. Yeah, the party has started here at the Marriott Dallas Uptown. The Ken Paxton watch party is underway. There's another watch party right around the corner from us here in the same hotel. That's the VIP room where there's some other Ken Paxton supporters, including the Attorney General of the state of Texas himself, who is expected to come over here. We're told sometime maybe around 8, but that's not confirmed at this point. So we're going to talk to some of the supporters here, about 100 of them who've gathered, including Stephen Stanley, who is a candidate on the Republican side running unopposed for House District 113.
Yes, sir.
And Stephen, I guess you're one of the supporters here for Ken Paxton. What are you seeing from these early results that are coming in?
I've been very surprised about the low voter turnout overall during the early voting and even today. I'm glad to see A.G. Paxton is showing so well against the incumbent. I've known both candidates for a number of years. I just think that now is the time that we need some new leadership in D.C. There's nothing against our current Senator Cornyn, but I think Senator Paxton, our Attorney General Paxton, is the right person to send back to Washington right now.
But are you concerned at this point that he was losing after the early voting totals?
No. Because with three big, strong candidates in this race, I think a lot of the experts pretty well figured that it was going to go into a runoff, and I think everybody pretty well figured that it was going to be the incumbent Senator Cornyn and A.G. Paxton anyway. I was hoping that Attorney General Paxton would have been leading at this point, but the night's still young. There's still a lot of votes to come in from around the state. I think he still has a great opportunity in some of our rural counties to actually take the lead.
So what made you and other Republicans here flip on John Cornyn, 24-year incumbent?
I'm not going to put it in the category necessarily of flipping. I greatly appreciate all the years of service that Senator Cornyn has given to the state of Texas and to all of the people of Texas. But I think it's time for somebody like Attorney General Paxton to take the lead. He's as the Attorney General, he has had some extremely significant wins for the state of Texas and for actually the people of the United States. And a lot of people concerned about the amount of money that was spent to fight these battles. I'll spend $30 million all day long to win $1 billion suit. So it's somebody that's got the fortitude to fight the fight that we need for.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for taking time to talk to us tonight. This is Stephen Stanley, a Republican running unopposed in the House District 13 race. Of course, we're still waiting for Ken Paxton to arrive here in the watch party room. He's expected to address his supporters. We'll find out soon what happens in this race. For now, reporting live, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
All right, thank you so much, J.D. And we're also keeping an eye on Wesley Hunt. Daniela Hurtado from KTRK in Houston is at his watch party. Hello, Daniela. Got to be a disappointing night over at headquarters there.
Yeah, Jack, good evening. I can tell you here we've been seeing people trickling into this watch party on the east end of Houston. And what we can tell you is about 50 people are here on site. They're waiting for Wesley Hunt to show up to address the crowd that has gathered here tonight. We talked to this communications person moments ago, and she told us that he is expected within the next hour to make some kind of speech, address the crowd on tonight's race. And the results that we're seeing already coming in Now, we can tell you that we did ask whether or not they plan to accept questions from the press, and they told us that stands to be determined. But of course, we will try to get some answers on what is next for Hunt in this situation. And as you know, as we expect this potential runoff, we do know, as we've talked to political experts out here in Houston, that they do expect this to go to a potential runoff in May as they try to decide who will be the Republican that goes into the November election. As for this watch party, you mentioned disappointing. I think that's the word here tonight, as we're starting to see those results trickling in here in Houston. Not a lot of celebration out here as folks are just gathering together, waiting to see and to hear from Wesley Hunt here in Houston. But for now, we're reporting live. Daniela Hurtado, CBS News, Texas. Jack, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniela. Appreciate that report live from Houston. And now we want to bring our panel back in to discuss the Republican primary for the U.S. Senate race. And we saw the numbers before. I want to show a different look now. We have a map of the state of Texas, and if you can see, so John Cornyn is in the red or pink shades. This is statewide, and then green is for Ken Paxton. And Wesley Hunt, it's hard to see, is in a different shade, but we know Wesley Hunt is far behind. But what I find very interesting is if we zoom in on Collin County, which is Ken Paxton's home base, and we can see that right now John Cornyn is leading Ken Paxton in his home county. So I bring in the panel here, and Professor, we'll start with you. How big of a deal is this?
Well, it would be embarrassing for Ken Paxton at a minimum if he loses his home county. But putting aside the fact that that's where Paxton lives, if you think about the demographic profile of Collin County, it's the sort of area where Cornyn should do relatively well, right? It's a pretty well educated, higher income, suburban county. It's not one of the rural or ex-urban counties that you think would be the core of Paxton's support. So, you know, other than the fact that Paxton hails from Collin County, you would expect it to be fairly strong Cornyn territory.
Michael.
I would agree with Professor, but I would also add something else. It's also the county, because it's his home county, that has heard all of the stories about his personal life and all of the stories about his business dealings. And so those people know him well. And that may be why he's running behind there, because they know him better than anyone.
But I think, you know, this is still a surprise, right? I mean, first of all, if you're Senator Cornyn, you got to be feeling pretty good about this, right?
You do.
And so let's talk about the Trump effect. President Trump has stayed out of this race. And a lot of people always say because he doesn't want to pick a loser. But, you know, we'll see. We still got a lot of results to go tonight. But I'm wondering if, you know, Cornyn continues his 4 percentage point lead statewide, which is more than people expected. Does that not prompt the White House to say to President Trump, you got to go?
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Okay. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I would not have expected him to have endorsed anyone before tonight. But I do expect him to endorse someone before May 26th.
You do.
When there's a runoff. Because, quite frankly, President Trump can't afford to have Senator Schumer as the majority leader.
I would add to that, we can't forget that in the beginning of this race, right, there was this competition about who was closer to Trump, right? Is it Paxton or is it Cornyn? I'm closer, you're closer. And so we have to remember, this is Trump's party. And the way this goes, I will see. If Cornyn keeps this lead, I have no doubt that the White House will enter into this race and Trump will be endorsing him.
Yeah, and I think Trump was telling the truth when he says, I like all three of these guys. Mm-hmm. That is, they've all been supportive of Donald Trump the vast majority of the time. And so Trump doesn't have an axe to grind against any of them. So his thinking about the race really is largely strategic. And I think that's the concerns that they're alluding to here that are going to drive what he does.
And we have updated numbers here. So it's tightening a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So Cornyn's still at 43%. Paxton's come up, so he's at 40%. So this is basically a 2.5 percentage point